Good people of God, set your feet onto the way of the Holy One. Walk in God's ways and keep before you always a clear vision of God's dream for you and for your children. For God is now leading you into a good land, a land flowing with fresh streams, with springs welling up in valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley, of vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of live trees and honey, a land where all can eat bread without scarcity and where none go hungry.
A land where stones yield iron, and from whose hills you can mine copper. In the land that God has brought you to, you shall eat your fill and bless your God for all that has been given to you. Testimony of Moses.
God created this vast, unfolding, ancient universe, and circling this sun, God spun our earth, beautiful and whole, growing and flourishing.
And from the dust of this earth, God created humans, beloved children of God, entrusted with the capacity to care for the earth and delight in its beauty and goodness.
But we forgot how to walk in God's way. Our footprints have become heavy upon the land. Our axes have pillaged too much of earth's riches. Forests felled, oceans polluted, species starved to extinction. Climate ransomed to our lust for more. Our footfall is too heavy upon the earth.
Not all footprints. It is the footprints of the wealthy industrial nations that are too heavy upon the land. If all the world were to live as we do in North America, we would need 6 Earths to sustain our lifestyle.
6 Earths? There is no planet B.
Reading the prophet Isaiah, earth dries up and shrivels. The world languishes and withers. The heavens are in mourning with the earth.
Earth lies polluted under the feet of its human inhabitants, for they have transgressed God's laws. They have wandered far from the way of the Holy One. They have lost sight of God's goodness and forgotten God's dream.
In consequence, earth is devoured by their greed. The wine is dried up. The songs of joy are silent, and desolation is all that is left. The witness of the prophet.
There are many who walk more gently upon the earth. This is Kerala, India. Infant mortality is lower than in Europe. 95% over age 7 can read and write, and its ecological footprint is small because they made a choice to put people before profit, fairness before wealth, care for the earth before resource exploitation.
If the world were to live like Kerala, there would be enough in one world for all. Oh, what we would learn to walk the way of the Holy One. Oh, that we would remember God's dream for us and for the earth, our home.
Remember God's dream as told by Moses. For God is now leading you into a good land, a land flowing with fresh streams, with springs welling up in valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley, of vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of live trees and honey, a land where all can eat bread without scarcity, and where none grow hungry.
None, no human, no creature, nothing.
So this year, I learned an ancient but new to me thing while I was reading this book by Robin Wall Kimmerer. It is the notion of the honorable harvest. Let me back up for a moment and introduce you to the author of this book. She is a scientist, a botanist, a renowned professor, and also a member of the Potawatomi Nation. The 7 grandfather teachings of her ancestors of wisdom, love, respect, honesty, humility, bravery, and truth towards all and to all creation shine through every page of this book. Her prose is prophetically poetic, and her critical scientific scholarship is impeccable. And her wisdom is humbly anchored in the wisdom of her indigenous ancestors. So it's with this unique voice that she teaches us, anybody who will read this book, all humans, all nations and religions, she teaches us how to reverence the earth that we have been given as a home. Reverencing is a strange word, but what it means is to pay attention, to treat with dignity and utmost respect, but also to know our place, not as master, but as beloved guest, or as she calls it, the youngest sibling within creation. So in one of her chapters of the book, she shares this other wisdom of her people, the honorable harvest. Various tales are told like parables to drive the point home that our lives depend upon the gracious gift of the life of others, plants, birds, fish, animals. She teaches us that we cannot and dare not take and consume more than what is given by creation. This notion that creation gives is what's still alarmingly new to me. I think all of us need to relearn how. For surely with our industrialized overconsumption, we have forgotten. Now, I was going to carry on and, quote, preach this chapter and the wisdom that comes from it, but I think that it is far better for us to hear Professor Elder Kimmerer speak for herself in this video.